Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the Growing Out Loud podcast. Drum rolls, please. Of course, you are joined by your favorite host, Daisy Kater. And today we are going to be having a conversation around self-sabotage, essentially, and procrastination, which is something that, as for me and my house, I have battled with for quite some time. Mm-hmm. But before we get into that conversation, this podcast has been brought to you by Brand with DK. Brand with DK is a communications and PR agency. And at the core of our services, we build personal brands, we scale personal brands as well, and we turn your story into a competitive business advantage. We also have a course on how to make money with your personal brand. The link is in the description below. This course is for you who is building or already has an established audience, and you're wondering, okay, so I do have followers, I have influence. How do I monetize my expertise, the following that I have, my skill set and all that? So that course answers all those questions. Now, let's get into the conversation. So today I am joined by Coach Wangui. Coach Wangui is a self-sabotage coach, and I think I will allow you to introduce yourself even better.
Okay, great.
And tell us who you are, what you do, for how long you've done this.
Yeah.
And yes.
Okay. First of all, thank you so much for hosting me here at Growing Out Loud. My name is Wangui Mungai. I am a master neurolinguistic programming practitioner, but I do like to say I'm a self-sabotage coach because the titles are too many to start introducing myself. But I have studied to help people understand why they do what they do, basically. So why are you doing what you're doing? So I've done this for 3 years. I remember my first certificate was back in 2023. Mm-hmm. And that's when I started around that time. So it's been 3 years of helping people get out of the cycles that are holding them back to get to their potential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lovely to have you here.
Thank you.
So let me start by just asking. Sometimes you find yourself in this situation, more often than not, actually. You know what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Clearly. Actually, you could wake up in the morning and write a to-do list. 1 to 10. In order of priority.
Yeah.
I need to do 1, 2, 3. You only must, right? You write that whole to-do list. You put that notebook down, or if you're drafting it on your phone, you put it down. And then you do nothing.
Yeah.
And then you so you could do nothing for, say, an hour.
Yeah.
And then now you start beating yourself up about the fact that you're doing nothing.
Yeah.
So now you feel anxious, but you are unable to still do the damn thing that you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So now the whole day is spent not tackling anything on that to-do list, feeling anxious about the fact that you're not doing anything and still not doing it.
Yeah.
Shida ni gani?
It is a cycle. And the thing is that we get caught up in it for a minute there.
Yeah.
And most of the time, first of all, let's put a disclaimer. Mm-hmm. We all self-sabotage. We're caught up in it. And just to go back a little bit and say that self-sabotage is a coping mechanism that we as human beings usually just use. So the thing is that it just shows up in different ways for sure.
Yeah.
So there are those who procrastinate. There are those who doubt themselves. There are those who don't do the thing they do. So for example, you wrote the to-do list, but you didn't do anything on that. And then you beat yourself up. Or you write and then you go on TikTok and then you spend 5 hours and then you're like, time has moved, right? And I haven't done anything that I said that I would do. It is a cycle, and most of the time it's because there's something your body knows that your mind doesn't know. And so your body is trying to keep you safe from something that it thinks you're going to experience if you do the to-do list, or if you do the thing that you said you're going to do.
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example, right?
Yes.
So you wrote a to-do list, and for example, it's about your business. I'm going to reach out to that client. I'm going to send that proposal. I'm going to post on Instagram, post on LinkedIn. I'm going to do all these things, right?
Yeah.
Your body's like, but if we do these things, first of all, there's a chance we might be rejected.
Yeah.
There's a chance your post might not get any like.
Yeah.
There's a chance that this and this is going to happen.
Yeah.
So what does your body do? It freezes. And to help you not experience that emotion of the rejection or the failure or the feeling like you failed, what does it do? Then you doom scroll. Doom scrolling is the quick dopamine way of like calming your nervous system down.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, is that most of us get caught up in it, that then we don't get ourselves out of it. Because then it's just a thing. It's like, it just becomes a cycle. And then you're caught in it.
And you've said already I feel so seen. And you've said something that piqued my interest quite a bit, which is your mind already knows that there's a result that will come out of the action that you're supposed to take.
Yeah.
And sometimes that action, it could be for business owners, for example, you go get that client that you worked so hard to get.
Yeah.
You finally get that client.
Yep.
Things are supposed to be rolling,
Yeah.
and it's like you freeze.
Exactly.
Because now suddenly, oh my God, I said I would do and be able to deliver ABCD for this person. Now I have been given the opportunity to do it. And somehow there's a mix of excitement and sometimes fear and feeling frightened.
Exactly.
And then you end up maybe not doing the best that you could have done.
Exactly.
And then you lose, I don't know, like it just becomes a vicious cycle.
It is.
But the question is again, what do you mean a coping mechanism? And also, I mean, a result of, again, just in the context of business, for example, it would lead to like a positive thing at the end of it. Like sometimes you even procrastinate doing things that are going to definitely be positive. The outcome will definitely be positive and good for you.
Yeah.
So why is that?
So I'll give you an example with myself, right?
Okay.
When I started a business back then called Journaling Therapy, and we used to sell journals. And so I saw a couple of coaches, and all of them would tell me the same thing. You need to put yourself out there. You need to post. People buy from people. Like, post yourself using the journal. And I would hear. And I've paid the money, and I know for sure if people see me, they will buy the journal because like it's that thing. And I would hear, I would post once, and then I would go back into my shell. I would post once, and then I'd go back to my shell. So what happened is that I came later to understand I actually had a fear of being seen. So the coping mechanism is that the fear of being seen is helping me not experience something that it thinks I will experience if I put myself out there.
Yeah.
I'll be rejected. That person will see me from school that we went together in USIU, and they're like, what the hell are you doing? And then they're like, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? And so what happens, the body's trying to keep me safe.
Yeah.
So in the process of the body trying to keep me safe, I know the outcome is going to give me what I want. But then my body cannot do it. That's why I always say, like, when we're talking about like procrastination, it's not a logical stuff. It's not logical. If it was logical, by now we would have figured out procrastination. Truly. We would have bought the planners. We would have had the systems. It would have worked. But if you're still finding yourself in the same cycle over and over again, it means there's something that your body's holding on to. And when I say the body's holding on to, is because then the subconscious mind is 95%. And the subconscious mind is the one that usually absorbs stuff from the ages of 0 to 6, right? So when we're born 0 to 6, we're sponges. We're absorbing everything that is happening to us, right? So in that age, of course, you start forming your own understanding of what is happening around you. And even as you're continuing to grow up, you're still forming an understanding of what is happening around you. So you say that, for example, in class 8, you did your exam, you did not pass. Or something happened, and the reception at home was not that good. So you interpret something, or someone at home said, hey, what did you do? Like, what happened? Or they say something like, nasi tulikulipia school fees, and you did not even get what, you did not pass. Yeah. Or you see, like, we told you should have done, studied harder, but you didn't study. Yet you might feel that you actually put your best foot forward.
Yeah.
So what happens is that you internalize that. And so what you do is that later you find yourself caught up in certain cycles that you're not understanding, why am I doing this thing? So when I'm saying a coping mechanism is that it's helping you not experience something you experienced back then, that then, because that's the work of the brain. The brain is about safety. Yeah. The brain does not want you to feel the same way you felt when your mom asked you, we told you to study, but you did not study.
Ona sasa.
Sasa ona. You see, so it's the same thing where you're like, if I send out this proposal, will I experience the same emotion that I experienced back then where my mom was like, ona sasa. Ona huku prepare enough. So what happens, maybe you become a perfectionist. because now you want to make everything perfect because you're afraid if I don't make it perfect, then what? Right? So it's a coping mechanism to help protect you from experiencing something that the body knows something. That's why we say the body keeps the score.
Yeah.
Like we cannot say that what we experienced when we were younger does not count. Unfortunately, it actually counts.
Yeah.
And even now in self-sabotage, it actually counts.
Yeah.
Even with the clients I work with, it's like the thing every single time where you're procrastinating because then you feel like you're not worthy. And like it doesn't have to be like correlated. Like for example, it doesn't have to be you're procrastinating setting up the business because you're not worthy of something. So let me give you an example. So it could be you're procrastinating starting a business, right? And you're procrastinating because then you don't feel worthy. You feel like if I set my price and I say my price is, for example, 10,000 Kenya shillings an hour, am I worthy of that money? Right? And then, we stop there and we start saying, am I worthy?
Yeah, maybe not.
And then you see, so you're procrastinating, but you're not just procrastinating because you don't want the extra chums. Like, it's not that you don't want the money, but the body is like, are we worthy? Now, let's even go even deeper.
Yeah.
It's the question, there's a part of you that is wondering, am I worthy because my dad left? Dad left, so for example, you don't feel worthy. So if you don't feel worthy because the one man who was supposed to show you love left or was not as present, then you internalize that and then it becomes a story that you continually tell yourself. And so you never feel worthy to put yourself out there because then I might be rejected the same way dad rejected me. Do you see? Like it's very...
I see.
Very deep stuff,
Rooted.
It is.
In your experiences, and from what I'm getting, experiences growing up as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the distinction between just being lazy? Or are you just being... Because a lot of us, and I know we say, what you speak about yourself and what you think about yourself actually manifests and becomes the thing.
Yeah.
So sometimes I ask myself, am I not doing this because I'm just lazy? And I'm not able to, I mean, do it to meandika to-do list and we know it's important, but we chose not to. I'm just being lazy.
Yeah. To be truly honest, I usually say there's a very thin line. And I usually ask my clients that. So sometimes it's like we worked on the procrastination. And for example, because then these things don't just end. Like, I still find myself doing something. I'm like, girl, we talked about this. Like, we've tackled this. Why are we back here? But the body has a way of just keeping things on a status quo, like to ensure you're safe, right? And so there's a very thin line between you're procrastinating and you're actually lazy or you're indisciplined.
Exactly. How can we tell? How can you tell Iyangu you're just
lazy?
You need to work on your discipline. Yeah.
I usually say that sometimes it happens when you find that, now this is from the work that I've done, because then I know for me before, I would not necessarily have called myself lazy or indisciplined for not posting the content despite saying I will do it. But it was the body was actually getting stuck, like freeze. It was freezing. The body is freezing. So that's why I usually say there's a very thin line between, is your body freezing or is it that you know what you need to do but you're not doing it? So for example, if you actually know the reason as to why, so I say, like I tell my clients, like after you've understood the reason you're procrastinating is because you have a fear of like you're not worthy or these people might reject you the same way dad did. Now when you know, it's more of like we're now leaning onto the lazy, indisciplined part.
Because we are aware.
We are aware.
Now.
That's why I usually say there's a difference between are we just aware or are we embodying the work that we know? There's a big difference. If you know why you're doing what you're doing, why are you not doing what you're doing then? Then it's something way deeper like that. Now it's like, girl, maybe now it's something. Now it's discipline or laziness or you're not allowing yourself. Because remember, if you know, for example, let's go back to that example of like, I know I need to start a business because if I start this business, it will give me more chums, right? And you've understood the reason why you're not doing it is because there's an unworthiness wound that you have, which we have worked it with, right? We've worked on it, we've understood it, and we've said now you need to do a lot of maybe inner child work, like you need to reparent your inner child. Because the thing is that by you not allowing yourself to put yourself out there and get the extra chums, you're still proving to yourself you're unworthy.
Pause there. Question. This reparenting yourself and doing the inner child work.
Yeah.
What kwanza inner child, what is inner child and what is reparenting
Yeah.
yourself?
Yeah. So the inner child there are parts within us. We have a part within us that is a younger, and most of the time I see this, when we're coaching, and I ask this person, like, how old is this part that is doubting herself? And an age comes up and they're like 7 or they're like 13. They're like, okay, cool. So that means that's a younger part within you. We all have inner children within us. They're there. Like, it's the parts within us that, like they usually say sometimes people grow in age, but they stay stuck emotionally at a certain age. It's the same thing. Like we have parts within us that are very young and very tender, and they took up a story and they got arrested in that story, in that age. And so the thing is that you've grown, but then you're finding yourself still coming back and behaving like this. And you're like, why? Like, I've grown up. I should get myself out of it. And so when we're talking about reparenting is about you now being the safe parent you'd have wanted back then. So if then you felt unworthy because dad left, right? So now it's like, how can you reparent yourself? By showing yourself you're worthy, by showing yourself that you are, that you can do this. You can put yourself out there. You're worthy of receiving that 10,000 Kenya shillings that someone can pay you. So it's like literally pushing yourself and feeling the discomfort of pushing yourself, because then you have to show this younger you that, by the way, we are worthy. We are worthy of this love that we want to have,
Yeah. And every time, how they say, when you take that one step today and then tomorrow and then the next day, you constantly build the confidence in your ability to do the hard thing, for example.
100.
So that's your way of now reparenting that inner child, and showing the inner you that imagine we can do this.
It is, because then again, if we don't do that, then we don't form the neural pathways. So that, like, the way we are, the way we behave is already so ingrained in who we are. Like, you already know what you're going to do tomorrow morning. Like, you wake up, you either go to the washroom, go drink water, make your bed, go to the, like, it's it. So most of the times when it comes to habits and behaviors, there's a neural pathway. The brain knows exactly what needs to be formed. So there are neurons that are already firing and wiring in the same way to help you be able to continue with life. So when we are saying you need to reparent yourself, you need to form new ways of being. And I'm sure you've seen, like, the way on TikTok or on Instagram, most people are like, you need to experience new ways of being to be able to heal. Like, healing is also like experiencing new things. And new things doesn't need you need to go like to Sarova. Like, it could be, but it also looks like also you with yourself. What can you do? Like, it may look like when you write that to-do list, a parent who loves their kid would actually do what they said they would do. Like, if they say they take you to the playground, they actually take you to the playground. So it's like, if you said you're going to do this list of things, then how can you allow yourself to do these things? And then also catch yourself, am I procrastinating or my day became busy? There's also a difference between that. The day just became busy, by the way. It's not that you're procrastinating.
Which actually gets me to the other point, which is sometimes we are so hard on ourselves. And now we keep affirming or reaffirming that I'm just lazy idea so much that you now start seeing yourself as less than, and now it shows up in even how you do things, so you're used to just internalizing and being, and you know how they say we're our own worst critics. Like, no one else sees you the way you probably see yourself. But I'm wondering now, first of all, where does that even come from? And how do we break out of that cycle? Because I think that specifically is what kills a lot of us, like pole too, from the inside. And Josie, I was having this conversation with my friends actually just this past weekend, and we're like, I wish we had the ability to see ourselves the way other people see us, which is funny because for us, we think other people see us as this
True.
you know,
Yeah.
while literally you're the one doing that to yourself, you
Yeah,
know. So
yeah.
how do you how do you suddenly stop doing that and start
Yeah.
now, you know,
Yeah.
seeing yourself positively?
Yeah.
Yeah.
First of all, it's important to catch the way we speak to ourselves. That's like a very important thing. Like, how do you speak to yourself? And so with the catching, like catching is like, you need to be very conscious. Like, you need to notice, like, right now I'm actually being too critical of myself.
Yeah.
Like, catch yourself and actually notice, in this moment, why am I being so critical of myself? Most of the time, so let me just for a little bit of, like adding a little bit of context to it. Like, most of the times, the reason as to why we are caught up in those negative self-talk or being too critical could be because your environment actually had a very critical person. A parent, a mom, a sister, an aunt, an uncle, someone who's very, very critical of you. And so you took it up unconsciously. I want you to know, like, most of the times we pick up these things like unconsciously. Like, no one wants to talk to themselves like in a harsh manner. But sister, if there's someone who is always like criticizing everything that you do, then obviously you'll always find yourself criticizing yourself.
Yeah.
So first of all, understand, where is this coming from? Have I learned it from somewhere? Is it in my voice, or is it in someone else's voice? Because sometimes it is in mom's or dad's voice.
Yeah, and it's very clear.
Exactly.
When it comes in your mind, you can literally hear that
Exactly.
voice and you know if it's you or not.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
you need to understand that. You need to catch yourself. And the other one that I always say is that you have to be self-compassionate. And the art of being self-compassionate is that you have to be mindful. And being mindful is that, like, catch yourself, and you have to be kind towards yourself. Like, kindness towards yourself. We're kind to other people, but are we kind to ourselves? That's the problem, right? And the other one is that you need to remember that there's common humanity in a room full of people. If you were to ask how many people are struggling with what you're struggling with, you'd find there are so many people.
Yeah, for
and I always say that because, like, go to TikTok. Someone is talking about something so specific. So many people have commented saying, that's me. I relate. That shows you, like, as a humanity, we are always experiencing stuff. So how can you, like, show yourself some love? Like, nobody knows everything. We are always struggling with stuff. We are procrastinating. We are doubting ourselves. We didn't speak up. We are self-sabotaging, So those are the things that I always say. Be very compassionate. And being compassionate is actually, what would you do if this was a friend who was experiencing what you're experiencing?
Then now tell yourself what you tell the friend.
Exactly. Bingo.
Who is just said that?
It is a muscle. I always say everything is a muscle. It just you need to practice it.
Yeah.
You need to practice it over and over again, because when you practice it, then it becomes like your way of being.
Yeah.
Like, you now become more compassionate towards yourself. You become kinder towards yourself.
Yeah.
You forgive yourself more easily.
Yeah.
Because you'll do many mistakes along the way,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. And it's very apparent to me how that self-sabotage comes up in business, or at least because from my own experience, I've seen it. And for sure, I am aware when it comes, I'm like, yep, Daisy, we're doing that thing again right now.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, how does self-sabotage actually show up in romantic relationships?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good one. It shows up in so many different ways, you know, like, if it's also, it shows up in so many ways. My mind is running. Okay, so it could show it could show up in you not speaking up in the relationship. It could also show up as you always being in victimhood all the time. It could show up as, have you heard of weaponized incompetence? Weaponized incompetence is where, for example, if we are friends, the two of us, or couple, it's only one person who does this thing and the other one never does anything. I'm always the one who's reaching out to you. Hi, Daisy, how are you? I'm always the one doing that. You never do it. Or I'm the one who's always planning stuff. You're never planning stuff. Weaponized incompetence also shows up like that. I know it's majorly talked about on online, like, about, like, when it comes to partners who decide not to do certain things, and they just decide to let the
like
woman
take a
do.
backseat
Exactly, like
in the
it's,
relationship.
Yeah, like, it's you're the one who does it better. I don't do it well, so they take a back seat. But then it's like, but we are two people in this relationship.
It's
A two-way street. Like,
Yeah.
could you like put in a little bit of effort in the doing of, or can you help in the doing of, right? But it shows up in you not speaking up, you maybe being a victim in your relationship.
Could you give us more context to that, like being in victim mode while in a relationship? What does that look like?
So when someone comes to tell you something, instead of you accepting, you become the one that you know, like you start coming up with your own stories of the reason as to why you did not do the thing, instead of first taking accountability. Like we are competing to see who is the one who is hurt more, like in the context. So when I come and tell you, like, I did not like the way you spoke to me yesterday,
Yeah.
and then you come and start saying, but you know, like, even me, I also was not having a good day. But like, I get it. You might not be having a good day, but I'm also coming with something. And two things can exist at the same time at the time, you know, when we're speaking. But allow your person to first speak before you start like bringing in your stuff. You know, it's like, it's
Hear them out.
Hear them out.
Hear where they're coming from.
Hear where they're coming from.
Okay.
It could also look like, you know, not people pleasing, you know, like just like always like doing stuff, but your partner is never doing stuff and you're the only one who's doing stuff. Or it could also show up as, I've said about not speaking up, right? Are there other ways that you've maybe that come up for you about like self-sabotaging in relationships that you might have noticed?
I was thinking about it recently, and hey, I really talk about my own stuff here. That is for Byron. I'm thinking about the words I'll use carefully. Well, I'm not too sure if this is about self-sabotage, but I noticed a statement that came up in my previous relationship and in my current relationship, which is always, Daisy, you always do that when we talk about, so for example, you're telling stories about some people, and I'm trying to get your opinion about that story in that context, and this person will be like, but now how, and suddenly when they give their opinion, it's like I'm trying to think, so is that something even you would do, for example, you see?
I see.
And it has happened like twice in different contexts for me to actually know that maybe this is something I need to look at inward, because it's like I'm trying to give you a persona or like trying to pick your brain, and I'm like, so in the event I see them as, this is someone, they would probably do the same thing as in this story, then it means they're going to let me down at some point.
I see.
I think so. It's like I'm trying to catch that being let down at some point before it even happens, so that in the event it happens, I'll have already like it's like I'm protecting myself. It's like I'm putting up a wall before
anything happens.
Anything even happens.
I
so
hear you.
I'm not too sure if that is self-sabotage, but I remember just wondering, there's clearly a pattern here. I think I need to work on something.
It could be just, and you know, like, it's self-preservation. Like all of us human beings are always preserving ourselves to a certain extent, and it's more of like, what are we? You know, it is important. First of all, we cannot live without self-preservation. First of all, we are.
It's a basic need.
It's a basic need. The thing is that I always ask, like, when does it become too much that then it becomes like a hindrance to allowing yourself to put yourself out there, you know, like allowing like people to just be people, you know, like you're just holding your cards so close to your chest because you don't want to be hurt. But in relationship, surely we will be hurt in one way or the other. And most of the time it's like we're trying to protect ourselves from experiencing a hurt that hurt us a bit too much. But even in this context, your partner hurting you is a bit much if you think about it. So we always are doing self-preservation. The thing is that you have to notice, maybe does it get in the way of the being of the relationship? You know, like if it starts seeping into the relationship and then it's just like, we need to look into that, because now we've swung into where self-preservation is our self-sabotage. I think there's a healthy balance to most of the things. I think there is a healthy balance. So you just have to notice, is it too much?
Okay. And now there's this thing where now that we are aware of like mental health, at least to a certain extent, and to be fair, I feel like we could do a better job of understanding like the different mental health challenges that are there, and I use that word loosely.
Yeah.
So you find that a lot of us nowadays self-diagnose, and you're like, I was depressed 3 months ago.
Yeah.
You probably were just feeling sad. I mean, how do you know that you were depressed,
Yeah.
Or we find people nowadays just saying, yeah, may have ADHD.
Very common.
That one too. So where is the stance? And keep in mind though, a lot of us may not have access to mental health care.
Yeah.
We can barely afford
Sure.
going to the hospital when we are actually in physical pain, now let alone mental health.
Yeah.
So now, like with the fact that we're all online, everyone has a TikTok, you can go up and talk about anything on TikTok. Once you start feeling a bit sad, you go on TikTok and search depression, and then you see someone who is not even qualified or licensed talking about, so me, I was depressed. You hear the story, like, God damn, me too.
Yeah.
So I'm depressed as well. And then now that becomes a narrative.
Yeah.
What is that about, and how do we get out of that?
It's funny because my sister actually shared a photo on Instagram, on our WhatsApp group, and she was saying that the photo was talking about the same thing you're saying. So it's like most of us are now labeling ourselves a bit much, and the question is, is that really true? Like, funny thing in coaching, we actually don't put labels on stuff.
Oh.
We barely put labels because I want you to tell me what you're experiencing. Because if you slap a label on it, most of the times you just slap it and you assume, I know, because it's a label. It's like, I've worn a white pant. Like, understand,
Yeah.
But there are different styles. There's yours, which looks different from my pants, which, it's the same thing. But like, so it's more of like, I feel like we're in the age where there's so much information, unfortunately. And with so much information, we are trying to make sense of it. Again, the brain is meaning making. So we always come up with ways to describe what it is we're experiencing. But as my opinion as a coach, is that instead of, I think that there's some things that need labels, but there's some things that might not need labels. And we need to understand what's going on deeper. Because most of the times when we have a label, then you stop there. You have a label and then that's it. And I usually say, like, for example, you remember the craze of attachment style?
Anxious, avoidant, anxious,
dismissive, avoidant, secure, and it was like a thing, and everyone was speaking about it, right? I always say, like, that is such a perfect example of labels. And so the thing is that most people just stop and say, I'm an avoidant.
Yeah, man, avoidant.
Right? And then it just stops there. And so when you get into a relationship, it's like, I'm an avoidant. I'm like, but you're in a relationship.
Yeah.
You should work towards not being an avoidant.
Yeah.
The avoidance came from something that you experienced. It shouldn't be your way of being.
Yeah, and now we use it as an excuse.
Exactly.
We're like, but say I told you I'm an avoidant.
Exactly.
I don't like to address such issues because I don't want to have I'm an avoidant.
You know what? That is exactly it. And I think that's the problem with labels. Labels just keep you there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like, I think with the tools that we have, like online, because you can go and just do a test and you can know your label. I think it's important to try and go a bit deeper. How can you, that has just given you information. And that's why I usually say, like, awareness is just awareness. What are you doing about it? When you know that you're an avoidant or anxiously attached, what are you doing about it?
Yeah.
Because if we slap a label, then we also, again, you stay in the victim of because it's a wound. Like, attachment styles are also coming from wounds. It's mom was never there, mom was overly there. It's just something. Or there's actually in that photo, she said that we now label everyone as a narcissist. How?
Actually, I once saw this TikTok where, and I guess this is popular with women. I've barely heard men call their women narcissists, but I hear a lot of women calling men narcissists.
Yeah.
And the question is sometimes, do you even know? for example, what is the actual definition of a narcissist, or even the actual definition of depression?
Exactly.
Or the actual definition of ADHD?
Yeah.
Do we even have an understanding of what that is?
Yeah, before we
Even start attaching and putting labels and putting people in boxes of,
Yeah, the problem is we put ourselves in boxes and then we don't come out of the boxes.
Yeah.
So it becomes a thing that kind of makes you spiral.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that when we're experiencing big things like depression, we cannot say, oh, you're not being depressed. No, you could actually be that you're actually depressed. But I'm always of the idea that a label sometimes it does something. The brain really, like the body, when it hears something, it's like, okay, now we are now here. So many chemicals are now released to be able to help you be able to understand what is going on. I think it's important I always say, like, understand the deeper stuff. Like, okay, what are you feeling in this moment? What are you experiencing?
Yeah.
More than just slapping a label.
Okay.
Because the slapping of a label also it makes us feel a bit like we don't have any
control.
Exactly. We don't have any control.
Yeah. But now, let me tell you, this going deep stuff, first of all, it can be quite uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then unza remember stories are inner child, for example. So tafikiria how I'm going to put food on my table, or that job that I've not done, or like the deadlines to meet, or am I going to sit down and start figuring out how old my inner child is, for example.
Yeah.
So do you have like practical steps for like going deep? 'Cause some of us don't even know how to go, like we just know how to wake up and live, literally, and try to survive and live to see the next day.
Yeah.
So how do we like start even understanding that what I'm feeling, for example, you could be, have an idea of, I've been feeling sad for quite some time. How do you know it's just been a difficult couple of months, or you're actually sinking into depression, for example? Or, how do we even start getting a bit deeper so that we can understand what is truly happening? Like step 1, step 2 to get us there. Yeah.
I mean, hey, I hear you when it comes to, should I go deep or should I put food on the table? It's one of those things, right?
Yeah.
The reason as to why, like, the going deep and being conscious and intentional with our journey is because, to be truly honest, our bodies know a language that our mind doesn't know. Like, sometimes people are like, I don't know why I do this thing, but I just find myself doing it. So yes, we need to eat. Hey, we need to eat. Everyone needs to eat, right? But sometimes is it holding you back from even putting that food on the table? That's when we're like, okay, maybe we need to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
So when it comes to like going deeper, it's more of like being intentional. And unfortunately, I'm just going to say, like, trauma happens, or whatever we experience happens in relationship. Like, you cannot be alone and then you have trauma. We were born by somebody, someone carried us, brought us into the world, and then all of a sudden we experience what we experienced, right?
Yeah.
So trauma happens in relationship, and unfortunately healing also happens in relationship.
Oh.
And so when we're saying you need to seek help, it's because then when you're seeking help, it helps you to also heal in a safe space with somebody. Because then the thing is that when you're trying to take yourself deep, most of the times unajifungianga, unafikanga mahali uko like, that's too much. I think we're there. I think we're there. So most of the times, and that's why I usually say, like, when you're experiencing like a couple of hard days, okay, what is going on really? What is genuinely going on? You could go, you can even call a friend. You could have a nice friend who can hold space, and they're not those friends who are yapping and giving you advice. Like someone who can actually listen and ask you good questions and hold space for you. I'm not saying your friends should be your therapists. No. But like, there are those ones who can hold space for you, right?
Yeah.
I think going deeper to understand what is going on with your body is more important, because the brain will come up with a story, but that story sometimes is not really the real story. So sometimes we think, oh wait, I think I figured it out, and then you're like, oh, maybe not, because then the story is usually so. How do I feel like when it comes to the work of understanding what is happening deeper,
Yeah.
it needs, and I say this a lot because like it needs a lot of intentionality and consciousness. Like if you're noticing you're having a couple of hard days and maybe it's going deeper into something else, can you hold space for yourself? Can you sit down with yourself, look for, is it like a YouTube video or something, or a journal,
Yeah.
and just write what you're experiencing. Just be honest with yourself, or take out your phone and record yourself. We're not saying post it, just speak.
So what you're saying is find an outlet of
Yes.
whatever
Yes.
way, shape, or form that
Yes.
will take.
Yeah.
If it's speaking to someone about it,
Yeah.
if it's writing it down,
Yeah.
if it's speaking out loud.
Yeah, speak
To
out loud
yourself.
to yourself. Yeah, or speak to
Yeah.
your cat. You know, like just speak to someone.
Yeah.
But like, or to yourself mentally, or write, or even record a voice note and
Yeah.
and go on a walk and say what you're experiencing.
Yeah.
And just speak it out.
Question: is crying part of
Yes.
it?
Cry,
An outlet?
please. Yes. Cry.
Okay.
It is very important to cry as
Yeah.
well. So
Okay.
Yeah.
And now I'm curious. Now that you've said maybe you could get someone to speak to,
yeah.
as that person that is being spoken to, right? Say you have come to me and you're feeling you need an outlet, and sometimes by the I there's this nice pattern that is coming up where you actually ask this person, do you have the space for me to like dump
Yeah.
things on you
Yeah.
or not?
Yeah. Yeah.
But like the question is, as the friend, are there like ways to go about listening to someone without necessarily, because you see, for example, with the stereotypes that are there, let's go with that. They say that guys, for example, tend to be logical.
Yeah.
So me, as your girlfriend, for example, or your female friend, and I'm speaking to my partner, or a male friend or something, I just need to express my frustrations. I don't need any solutions from you.
Yeah.
But you end up coming and telling me, so when I speak everything, you're like, see, ufanye ABCD.
Yeah.
I don't want solutions.
Yeah.
I just want to be
Yeah.
to be heard.
Yeah.
Is all. I'm
Yeah.
looking for space. So in that same context, now for me, you've come to me. What are the things? How can I like guide you or allow you to let out your emotions or whatever it is that you're going
Yeah.
through, and do it in a way that is safe? How do we create a safe space
Yeah.
for people to, let it out
Yeah.
on us,
Yeah.
technically?
Yeah.
What are there like guidelines? What should we do or not do
Yeah.
in such situations?
Yeah. There's a book I read some time ago, and it was about asking questions and like listening and asking questions, right? And basically the book is about just listen. When I come to you, just listen, by the way.
Men, I'm scared.
Just listen, right? Again, when it comes maybe to your partner or your male friend, maybe tell them, I don't need logic. I just need you to hold space for me. And I know maybe it might be uncomfortable, but I just need to speak to you. And I just need you to listen to me. And so even as a friend, when I'm coming to you, just allow me to speak, by the way. You know, the funny thing is most of the time we might even know the solution. So it's not like I don't know. Maybe, at this moment, I just want to rant.
Yeah.
And I just want you to listen to my rant.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, ask me, how am I feeling? Is there, or ask questions about that thing. Actually, the thing is that most of us, I think why we struggle is because, and that book also says the same thing, is we are listening to respond.
Always.
Right? Instead of listening to comprehend.
Yeah.
Like listening just to listen. Like listening just to hear what that person is saying. Without having to want to. And first of all, another thing, please put the sarcasm away. It's not time for sarcasm when someone is coming to you being vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's not. And I know there are people who, that is their form of, the discomfort of holding space. It just feels, it's too uncomfortable. Let me bring in a joke. I don't think it's the time for a joke.
Yeah.
Unless that's the thing that you've created with your friend.
Yeah.
But at the time, maybe just listen to your friend. Just listen to that person who's speaking to you. Ask questions about that thing they're going through.
Yeah.
Ask them to help them even be able to think more about it. But don't become their therapist. You need to also. You're not there to, because if they're ranting, just listen.
Yeah.
You're not there to help them fix it. Don't get into fix mode. Most of the times I usually tell myself like that. When I'm not a coach, like when I'm listening to people, I'm not here to fix, I'm just here to listen. And just allow yourself to listen. Basically, listen with the intent of comprehending or understanding what that person is going through, rather than listening to ask a question or to respond. Like you're just listening so that you can tell them, but see, we talked about this, but see, it's not that time. It's not that time. And it's the same thing where they say, like, when someone is drowning, that's not the time to teach them to swim.
Yeah.
So
I see.
It's not.
Okay.
It's more of like listening.
And at what point then do we distinguish that this, she's probably just having a hard time, and this one actually needs help and attention, like maybe professional help, professional attention? What are the signs to look out for ourselves and for the friends and family that come to, get a safe space from us? Yeah.
I actually think when we're listening to people speaking to us, or when we're listening to someone speaking to us, when they're saying something at the time, I don't think that's the time to tell them they need to seek help. Imagine I'm coming to you, I'm vulnerable, and then you're telling me I need to see my therapist. Kwani, I didn't know I need to see my therapist, or I need to pay for a therapy session.
Yeah.
I think it's important to know what is the time that creates, because again, we have to be like, I know there are people who say, but me, I'm about tough love and I'm here to like say the truth, and I don't see the reason as to why I should not say the truth. But the truth at that time when someone is being vulnerable is not the time for the truth. It's time for you just being there as a person that they need to hear. So more of like, just like knowing, like, can I sit down with you later and maybe tell you what is happening? Again, you can know that this is time for someone to see someone because they've been talking about the same thing maybe for too long. That's when you're like, okay, maybe you need to see someone. You need to see someone to help you navigate what you're going through. And say it at a later time, not at the time when they're ranting, because then it feels very dismissive when someone is talking to you and they're like, maybe you should see your therapist. I know I should, but like I just
when do you go?
Exactly. Exactly. So
Okay. And maybe as we are wrapping this up, what are the like this, the cycles that we had, for example, for you know you're self-sabotaging. Now we're aware. To go awareness stage. But you see, again, because they're habits, it's difficult to like just stop them. Huwezi amka tu kesho and you're changed.
For sure.
But like, what could be our like first steps to getting ourselves to be better?
The first step to getting like ourselves to be better when it comes to like breaking out of the habits is, first you have to understand what is the habit that you're currently struggling with. You can't work on anything that you don't know you're struggling. So if it's procrastination, notice it's the procrastination you're struggling with. And then number 2, when it comes to helping yourself get out of it, is you need to like consistently notice. In this moment, by the way, today I have procrastinated. Now, tomorrow, how can I show up better? You have to self-correct. Like, because then the cycle that you had explained at the beginning is a vicious cycle that stays there because we do not allow ourselves to self-correct. So you should self-correct as quickly as possible. So once you notice, like in this moment, by the way, I've picked up this phone because I'm procrastinating. Put your phone down. Breathe. And I know it sounds like funny, like breathe, like girl, like, but breathe and actually allow yourself to sit in the discomfort of doing the things that you said you want to do. Like, you remember the neural pathways? That's the only way we can form new neural pathways. And the only way we can break out of the cycles is by forming new neural pathways. And we form new neural pathways by being uncomfortable. Doing it and experiencing. So if you were to send that proposal to that client, sending it and actually feeling the body, feel the feeling of being rejected. Allow your body to feel, because like you're procrastinating because you're trying to protect your body from feeling, being rejected. Feel it in your body. Notice it.
Which just allow me to say this.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
also reminds me, I once heard someone say this on TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok is, yeah.
Yeah. I read it somewhere. No, I saw it on TikTok.
Yup.
It was definitely a TikTok. So this guy was saying, sometimes we're not even scared of failure. Sometimes we are scared of success. And you might send that proposal and you might get that yes, and
There we
it
go.
might get you next to the next level. And now suddenly the thought of that, while it's something exciting, it's also that I think it takes us back to that self-worth thing.
Exactly.
Am I worthy,
Am I worthy?
of receiving this?
100%.
So that shows up also quite a bit. It's
Yeah.
oh my God, we're
The fear
going
of
to go.
success.
It's the fear of success and probably what it would need you to do. Because to get to that next level,
Exactly.
you still have to, you would have to upskill, I use the words loosely again, upskill in certain ways, change what you've been doing
have to.
match that
There we go.
new level.
Yes.
And maybe your body's like, nah,
It's
we're
too
used
much
to being
work.
like this.
It's too much work, right? And then
Yeah.
also there's the fear of losing community. If you become too successful, then your friends, you might not be relatable to your friends or to the people around you. So what happens? So you get frozen again. Like these things is like, again, the brain is meaning making. The brain has a story it's telling itself. If you don't catch that story, that's why we find ourselves like continuously doing it. It's like you don't want to be seen like you're doing too good.
There's that.
Right?
And they say there's these people who you know internally there's something about you that makes you special, for example, and makes you stand out.
Yeah.
And that feeling can be uncomfortable, that you find yourself constantly trying to dim your light.
Yeah.
Wewe mwenyewe.
Yeah, it's a consistent thing.
Yeah.
We're always doing it because then who do I become if my light shines too bright?
Yeah.
Then how do people start looking at me?
Who does she think she is?
That question, who do you think you are?
Hey, who do you think you are?
But then do you remember I was talking about this with a client and I was asking about, have you watched the podcast episode with Murugi, Just Ivy, and there's a coach in it?
Where
It's on YouTube. It's
Just Money? On the Just Money podcast?
No, the Kenyan Harvard something. The YouTube video, Just Ivy's new YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one with Murugi. It was released recently.
Yes, it's
I
recent.
haven't caught
Okay,
up with
cool.
it yet.
So-
Not for money. Why some people stay broke and other.
Yes, that one.
Oh yeah, I need to catch up. I
So
haven't yet.
one of the things that Murugi said that actually caught me, she said like, when Just Ivy asked her like, do you struggle with imposter syndrome? Like, do you feel like, and then Murugi was like, no, I'm deserving of being in that room. I'm deserving of that money. So I was like, girl, power. We love it. I think it's supposed to be like that. But
starts
then
from there.
it starts from there. But then again, we have so many stories we're telling ourselves
Yeah.
that then I don't want to be too bright.
Yeah.
Am I deserving to be in that room? Why did they call you if you're not deserving of being in that room?
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things that we have to consistently work on our worthiness.
Yeah.
And I always say like healing brings us closer to feeling worthy of exploring our potential. Like you feel worthy, like I am worthy of actually allowing myself to explore this thing, just that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've just realized I could go on and on with this conversation. Yeah, just the last thing.
Yeah.
You've said something important.
Yeah.
Healing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Healing sounds like this abstract
Thing.
thing.
Yeah.
So yes, we've talked about you are aware
Yeah.
of the habits that are holding you back,
Yeah.
and now we are trying to. You said you sit in the discomfort
Yeah.
of doing something new,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And feel that whatever feeling it is, if it's rejection already, feel that, So now that starts the process of healing.
Yeah.
And like reparenting
Reparenting, rewiring,
All that?
Yeah, regulating your nervous system. Actually, can I say something?
Yes.
Regulating your nervous system actually happens in the process. It's not that we just say, I have a regulated nervous system and then you're never doing anything. That is the time to actually test if you have a regulated nervous system. Like in that moment, do that to-do list. Let's see if you actually have a regulated nervous system. That is when we say you actually have a regulated nervous system. Like you can't just say I have a regulated nervous system, but it's actually supposed to help you in the process of the doing of stuff.
yeah.
It's regulating you.
Okay.
So that fear of rejection doesn't hit you where you're now in fight or flight.
Yeah.
But you're more of like, okay.
And it's sour.
You know,
I got that email and they said no.
Exactly.
And it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I feel awful.
I didn't die.
I'm good though. I put
Yeah.
myself out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
And-
have to.
yeah.
Reparenting, rewiring is all that. Allowing yourself to feel that discomfort. Like my main motto is be uncomfortable. Like there was a threat of me sending you that and being, hey Daisy, can I come to your podcast? There's a possibility of her saying,
And
girl,
Daisy
I'm
says
too busy.
no.
You know.
I'm like, no, you don't fit the criteria for the kind of guest I have on my
Exactly.
set.
Or you tell me, oh no, we don't have available spots. Check
Yeah.
in next year.
Yeah.
And that was like, girl, there's a possibility for everything. But it's like, how do you? That's when we know, like, if you have a regulated nervous system in the doing of, because you have to do stuff. Like, we cannot just be aware. Healing is actually that. Like, when I'm aware, what am I doing?
Actually, if you are aware and you don't do anything about it, you're being lazy.
Actually, there's a word, and I don't know if this is gonna be okay or bleeped
It's
in the
okay.
but it's called mental masturbation as well.
I did an episode on mental masturbation.
did?
On life through
Okay.
Gen Z lenses, not this podcast.
Okay.
I had a podcast about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I captured a whole episode on mental masturbation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, where we're just getting new knowledge, but we're not doing anything.
So you do that course, you finish it, you feel so good about the fact that you took up a course, so you are upskilling. And you don't do anything that was said in that course. You don't actively apply it in your day-to-day work.
That part.
And then tomorrow you go take another course.
There we
So
go.
you've just been taking up courses, not applying any of it,
Yeah.
still stuck in the same situation. And now because your mind is lying to you that you're making progress because you're learning.
Yeah.
What a waste of time. Anyway, Coach, maybe you could tell us a bit more about your work and specifically, the kind of clients that you work with, how people can find you.
Yeah.
And I know you have a course. A web, is it a webinar? The one with Attic, the partnership that you have with Attic?
Yes.
Though I'm sure by the time we release this, when is it?
It's this Saturday.
Oh, yeah. So it will have happened by the time I'm publishing this, but you could tell us more about your work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Daisy. This was actually very, very lovely to be here.
Mm-hmm.
So how you can reach me, I'm on Instagram as Coach Wangui, on TikTok at Coach Wangui, also on email. You can reach me at healing@wangui.com. I work with clients who struggle with self-sabotage because we help you get out of the cycle and understand what's the story behind. So I usually say my work is more of subconscious work. It's about that. I have a program that helps people get out of the cycle. It's a 10-week program that we dive deeper to understand what is the story here, because the body knows something that the mind doesn't know. The mind is the one that says, I want to do. The body is the one that's like, maybe not, girl. Maybe not.
Some other day.
Exactly. And that some other day maybe never comes, right?
Yeah.
So that is what I usually help my clients do. And I also have a masterclass, though. I created a masterclass, which if anybody would love to understand what this work looks like, it's a session where I go deeper to explain why we sabotage and how to actually get yourself out of the self-sabotaging cycle, and add tools, literal tools that I use in sessions to help you get out of the cycles.
Yeah.
And so it's a pre-recorded masterclass, so you can always come back to it over and over and over again. So that's how you can reach me and work with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been lovely having you on set.
Thank you as well.
This self-sabotage thing is something that a lot of us struggle with.
Yeah.
And I think the other version, the best version of yourself sits on the other side
100% of self-sabotage.
of self-sabotage.
Yeah.
So thank you. For being here, and thank you to my audiences for staying up until the end. I'm curious to know what self-sabotage has cost you, what procrastination has cost you, and maybe you could also let us know what practices you took up that helped you get to the next level, or help to get away from the funk that you are going through, so that it can also help us as well. And in the event you have any questions, please feel free to have them in the comment section. We will respond to them. I'd also like to hear other conversations that you'd like for us to have on this podcast. It would be lovely to hear that from you. And stay tuned for the next episode of the Growing Out Loud podcast. So I've been your favorite host, Daisy Keter. Please remember to share, like, and subscribe across all social media platforms. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.